What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariel if you didn't know. Today I am by my Christmas tree. It is literally December 11th and Christmas is coming up, so why not? Okay, so today's video is going to be all about fills. I'm going to give you guys all my tips on fills and what I've learned and little things to get around certain situations. So let's get into it. Okay, so when I started doing lashes and I started doing fills, to be honest, fills were super tricky for me just because I didn't really know what was right and what was wrong about fills, like what you're supposed to do versus what you're not supposed to do. Again, training wasn't good. I had to obviously learn these things on my own and then kind of pick up certain things that worked for me. So one of the things that I actually didn't learn was that you are absolutely supposed to take off all of your old lashes. You're supposed to take off all the grown out lashes, obviously, but like when you don't know, you don't know, you know? You take off all your grown out lashes. If they start to look like they don't need to be in there, you gotta take that bad boy off, because honestly, you cannot be doing a full set, or sorry, a fill, and then have that grown out lash in there. It completely ruins it. It'll have a totally long length that just doesn't need to be there. So first things first, once you get your fill, you gotta take off those old lashes. So as soon as my client comes in, you know, you do a nice evaluation, you let them know where their lashes stand. First of all, you gotta find out if that is 40% or not. Your fills should be, everyone kind of has different rules, but generally speaking, it is a rule of thumb that 40% is really where you should be at. You shouldn't have anything less than 40% when you're coming in for a fill. And to be honest, one of my trickiest things that it took me a really long time to kind of work around it was actually letting people know when it was no longer a fill and now considered a full set. I had such an issue telling people like, okay, like this isn't a fill, you gotta pay me like a full set, and I would feel so bad and I wouldn't do it. Like I would just literally say, okay, well, yeah, like this kinda is like a full set, but I guess we'll just do a fill, because I was always so afraid on how people would react and if they'd be upset and blame me. And I don't know, I guess it was just something like when you start off, you get nervous and you don't know how to react to people and you don't want to like make anyone upset or like have them come at you. So like I was really nervous about that. But now, don't get it twisted. If a client comes in here with less than 40%, I'm like, hey girl, before we start, let's just put it out there. This actually is less than 40%, so unfortunately we're gonna have to go with a full set. Now, you give your client the option, hey, do you want to do that? Like, do you want to pay the full price and go ahead and do that? Or would you rather me remove them and then you can just come back another time when you're ready for a full set? Or just leave it? Because at the end of the day, you never want to guarantee a client that it is a fill and they'd be paying a fill price if you haven't taken a look at the lashes. That was one of the biggest things. I would tell people, yeah, it's been so and so time period, you can come in for a fill, but then they come in and there's no lashes there. So you have to make sure you let them know, hey, it should be a fill, but you know, when you come in, let's just take a look and see what it looks like, as you're supposed to have 40% of the lashes. A lot of clients like to say, yeah, of course it's 40%, it is 100%, like that is 40% lashes, it's there, I know it's there, and then they come in and they close their eyes and like, there's like 3 lashes here and 3 lashes there, and then this side has like 1, and they think that's a fill. It's not a fill. Definitely never promise your client a fill if you haven't taken a look at the lashes first. So once your client comes in, you take a look at the lashes, you give them the okay, hey, it's a fill, let's get into it. Then you start pulling off your old ones. I personally go with a banana peel method when I start taking off those lashes. If you want, if you have a fill that needs a lot more of a removal, I do my best to stay away from using any type of remover on the lashes, because once you go to fill them, sometimes there's residue, there's like they may be wet, and it could really compromise your retention. So try your best to stay away from using a remover and do the banana peel. I haven't had any issues where I had to use a remover, but I don't know, you may be in a situation where like the person has a ton of growth, but see, that's a whole other situation now. So if you have a client that comes in and they have so much growth, they're growing like crazy and all of them are growing like crazy, now that's a situation where you have to tell your client, hey, your growth is like exponential and it is time to get a full set. You need to get a whole new set, because at that point, that span of that period where your client didn't come in for the fill, so let's say it's 2 weeks, some people have crazy growth and their lashes grow like insanely fast, and in 2 weeks they're completely grown out. So that is a unique client, and you need to tell that unique client, like, hey, we need to figure something else out. So if that client needs to come in every week for a fill, that's what has to be done, because that's just what's unique to them, right? Because then that screws you up, because then if, let's say, you have that client coming in every 2 weeks and they have so much growth, you're no longer in that time period of your fill. It is now full set, and you're messing up your whole schedule. So now you have to make extra time for that client, because they're paying a fill price, but you're doing full set work. And they're actually here for a full set time, and you're only catering for a fill time. So you have to make sure that you're actually talking to your client and letting them know what's happening, because everybody's different. It's not a set thing. Everyone can have different growth cycles. Everyone can have different retention. It's totally unique to every client. So that's when you have to start to get to know your client and get to know their growth cycle and get to know how long their lashes actually last on them. Okay, now once you figured all that out, you're ready to go in and you start taking a look at your client's lashes and you see some dirt in there. That is a real thing. Like, dirty lashes are a real thing that I've been talking about pretty often these days, because I've seen some stuff. So now at this point, you need to make the decision on whether or not your client absolutely needs a lash bath or not. If you see things in there, sometimes you can pick out little things, but you know it's dirty in there. So if you're gonna go ahead and pick out whatever's in there, now it's your job to go ahead and make sure you use some type of primer, some type of witch hazel, something to kind of dry up any excess oils in there if you're not going to give them a lash bath. Then with the lash bath situation, if they are dirty enough that you do need to give them a lash bath, you have to let them know. Like, you have to let them know, I'm giving you a lash bath because so and so and so and so, because now that cuts into your time. When I give a lash bath, that's like an extra, honestly, if you're doing it properly and thoroughly and you gotta let those guys dry, you gotta cater at least like 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. That's a good chunk of lashing time. It really is. You definitely have to make sure you let your client know that they are getting a lash bath. And if you do charge for lash baths, you need to incorporate that in that entire service, and you need to let them know they absolutely need to get a lash bath. And this is the reason why you need to get a lash bath. And now this is being added onto your bill, because it's not your fault. You cannot properly perform your job if the lashes are dirty or the lashes can't hold the extension properly. And then at the end of the day, if you don't talk and you don't say, like, this is why, and explain it to them, the retention's gonna be bad, and it's gonna be your fault, because they're gonna say that your lashes didn't last on me, the lashes that you put on, they're falling off, they're popping off, you're using something different, you're using different glue, blah, 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 blah. It's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. That's just what it is. So as long as you communicate with your client and you let them know, like, hey, you know, there's some extra buildup in your lashes today. We definitely have to do a lash bath to make sure that the retention stays strong and that you're able to put the extensions on properly without them popping off. These are all things you gotta communicate to your client, okay? Yeah, lash baths are important, but not everybody needs it. So it's not something you have to implement on everybody. To be honest, out of all of my clients, I maybe have like 2 or 3 clients that, like, I absolutely have to give them a lash bath, because there's just too much buildup, too much dirt in their lashes. But again, not for everyone. Just pick and choose and use your discretion on where you think this is gonna benefit the client. And my final tip on fills is definitely look at your timing. Sometimes fills can run between, for me personally, they can run between an hour and a half to 2 hours depending on the client, but it varies. Like, I don't know how everyone else does it, but for me, this is a personal thing. It varies between the client and how many natural lashes they have, and how long their lash line is. It totally depends. So for me, I know based on their initial set how long their fill is gonna take. So I have some clients that take me 3 hours, and I know for sure that their fill is gonna take me almost 2, because that's just what it is. And I like to make sure that I'm really thorough with my fills, because the thing is too, with your fills, this is where you retain your client. Like, you can have a client come in for a full set and then come back for a fill and they're like, it's not as good as the first time. You need to make sure you're doing your best work in your fills, because your fills are what give you that consistent income, and that's where you want your loyalty to be. You have those clients that are the one-offs that come in for a full set every 2 months, every 4 months, on vacation, whatever the case is, an event. But you want to make sure you have a client that loves lashes so much that they can't see themselves without it. They love it. They love the feeling. They love the experience. So you never want to do a fill like half-ass or forget one step and don't take out the old lashes, or they just don't look as fresh and as full and as fluffy as the initial set. You want to make sure your fills look, if not the same, better than the full sets, because fills are literally your main source of income. So make sure you're keeping those clients that are coming back for fills as happy as they can be, because this is super, super, super important. If you, and like, I remember I used to work at Fido, and the first thing they would always say is like, it's easier to sell to an existing client than to sell to a new client. So this is what it is. You want to make sure you keep your existing clients and build that relationship with them, and fills are the way that they build the relationship. I have certain clients where I'm like, damn, like she came back for a fill. Like I didn't expect it, but she loved it so much she came back. And you know what? That same girl is literally here every 3 weeks on the spot, like on time. Like literally every 3 weeks she's here. Okay guys, that is it from this video. That is all my, well, some of my fill tips. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that this addressed some issues that you guys are having with fills. I know sometimes fills can be kind of tricky, so I hope this helps. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back with something new next time. Bye!